Peace, love, light, and overstanding. This is Light Warrior, and I'm going to try to keep this brief, but um, I'm trying to get people to see that we have been living in a delusion. I want to say illusion, but it's more of a delusion. And I say that because anybody who woke up today, meaning you're still in this realm, and if you still do not understand that we have been indoctrinated with lies on every front. And we need to stop believing the lies. Okay, so called mainstream media is bullshit. Um, okay, in 2020, I knew that Mama had shut the shit down, even though nobody else seemed to want to accept that fact. I knew it. And here I am now in 2022, and I come across this gentleman who's saying the same thing. And the sad thing is, he's been saying the same thing for several years now, and nobody's paying him any attention for the most part. It's a few, but most people are still in the illusion and quite comfortable in it. Anyway, this is one of his videos, and he has many. His name is Rod Hayes, and the brother has a mission, and he has been on it. I want you to hear this video that he is playing a portion of it. This is for those people who know that something is wrong, and I don't know, maybe you need a catalyst or something to get off the fence. So maybe this will be that catalyst. So listen if you will.
Pay was always in cash. Cash, and you would sign a card. It would go like this. A rendezvous or a drop-off point would be picked out either by yourself or the agent. You would meet the agent there. Usually it would be in a vehicle. You get in a vehicle, he would hand you the money. He would tell you first to count the money. He would tell you the amount while you counted it. If the amount was there, he would then bring out a card. On that card would be for the week of such and such. In other words, the week was dated. So-and-so has been paid the amount of. Then you would sign the card, and then the agent would sign the card. The reason for this is that if all of a sudden the IRS became very interested about where you were getting all this extra money from, you could always tell them to go back to the Bureau, and the Bureau would have your cards on file.
Okay, now, he just told you how they got around the Internal Revenue Service, which is, we know can't nobody get past the tax man, even though ain't no laws on the books to pay taxes. But they are securing them from being put in the position that Al Capone was put in when they got him for tax evasion. Now watch how he tell you how they operate.
I see. Were there such things as bonuses?
Oh, yes.
What were they paid for?
Bonuses were paid for, suppose while you were meeting with, or you were at a meeting with Bobby Seals, Chulai of the Red Army happened to come to the meeting too.
He just gave a specific name of Bobby Seale, which was the Black Panther, and Chulai from the Red Army. That's the Communist Party in California. The Red Army was a underground so-called Communist Party that was anti-American or anti-establishment, I should say, because they don't have a problem with the people. They got a problem with the occupiers on the land. So he telling you this was an actual infiltration that's been exposed, and he telling you exactly who it was. Watch this.
Just something which would be a new development.
A new development.
That's bonus time.
In other words, a hot piece of information.
Hot piece, very hot piece.
We've seen a number of investigations into the assassination of Martin Luther King. We've seen an extended police trial of the assassination of Malcolm X. What you seem to say substantiates.
Now, he mentioned Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. He mentioned the trial of Malcolm X. Now, remember, at the time this is being talked about, everybody think that Farrakhan got something to do with Malcolm's death. This is before we find out that it was done by government informants and undercover agents targeting rights. Just before we knew any of that when they discussing this. Now listen.
It's what many black people say out on the street, that government agents or agencies knew that these assassinations were brewing and either participated in them or allowed them to take place.
It would behoove black people, it would behoove all people, really, to question so-called the cut and dry one lone assassin theory.
Look at the look on his face. He's really a true narcissistic sociopath. He's actually getting off telling this man how he worked for the government and how they infiltrate. Look at it. He loving this shit.
The Bureau and other intelligence agencies are very good at conspiracies. They are very good at setting people up to be killed. They are very good at making innuendos so the person will be killed.
So now he just told y'all they skilled in setting people up to get killed. And they also skilled in framing people for murders.
You also were active in the infiltration of many cultural groups. Before we go into that step by step, how much research and study did the FBI engage in of black culture in the late 60s?
A great amount.
Give me an idea.
From the thing is, I can, they have a file on every type of magazine that blacks read. They have a file on the music, dance, theater, actors, comedians, you name it, man.
Now you see, he said they made him go back to the music because they always knew they would talk on the drum. This is why they studied our music so intently. What do you mean talk on the drum? We put it on the beat. Bump, 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 bump. On the beat, it tells you more information in a smaller amount of space, right? So, listen to what he's saying.
And they would actually study these?
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely.
What would they do with music?
To understand the people, you have to understand the culture. To infiltrate, you have to understand. You had a lot of so-called white liberals that were infiltrating the so-called black groups using the information that they had gathered from the studies of blacks.
You mean just to understand the behavior?
Now, for us, back in this time, we was under the impression when he said they were being infiltrated by white liberals. We was thinking they was talking about people with pale skin. At this time, we wasn't totally sure that the white man ain't even white. So now that gives us a whole nother view of what he talking about.
Okay, family. I try to keep these messages short and sweet. Okay? So, I hope that if just one person has been enlightened, this video will be worth it. But we need to wake up to what is going on, what has been going on. And before I sign off here, I want to repeat that it's over. Okay? This de facto government is defunct. It's over. It's done. The only thing keeping it limping along are those of us who are continuing to contract with these criminals as if it's not defunct. So everybody has their own situation. Detach from this bullshit as much as you can, where you can, but detach from it because this shit is falling down. It's falling down, and it's going to come to a point where you're not going to have any choice but to face it. Okay, so it'll be tough for a short time, but after that, because they have to go, they literally have to leave our land. Okay, so on that note, I want to thank you for listening. This is Light Warrior signing off. Peace, love, light, and overstanding. And again, if you need to get in touch with me, you can email me at mamasuniverse@protonmail.com. MAMASYONIVERSE at protonmail.com. Thank you again. Peace, love, light, and overstanding.